Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking a look through another 100 penguins, this time from penguins 701 up to number 800. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay, so number 700 is this one here. It's a biography, Father and Son. That's number 700. This is a particularly nice one, Farewell My Lovely, by Raymond Chandler. I do believe this is actually the first time this was printed in the UK, so it is listed as like a Raymond Chandler first edition, and as such, Chandler collectors obviously are after that one. A really nice crime book, that one. Murder on Leave, J.V. Galway. Sonia, it's a bit of a beaten up old copy, this one, but this is a bit of a thicker double volume, 2 6 shillings, with the double penguin on the front there. And certainly some of these later ones, I've still got my sort of original copies that I've picked up over the years at like jumble sales and things like that. This is a lovely one from Ngaio Marsh. Death and the Dancing Footman. Quite a thick one for her there, actually. If you've never read any of her crime novels, they do also come recommended. Certainly got into her a bit more recently. Another one here, Overture to Death. And this is Penguin popping a few by the same author out simultaneously to get a bit of exposure on the shelf. And this is the third one in that little run, Death at the Bar. So 704, 705 and 706, all by Ngaio Marsh. Next we've got another biography, a double again, 707, The Romantic Exiles, E.H. Carr. A portrait gallery of some of the 19th century refugees from Zaira's depression. Well, there we are. Huge book as well. This is ever such a slightly different cover design with the lines there. You see that? Number 708. Makes me think this probably came out a little bit later, 1949, than the other ones because of the design difference there. This is another one, 708, with that same sort of slightly altered design, ever so slightly, The Kiss of Death. Now a miscellaneous title here, book on bridge. L. Culbertson, Contract Bridge. Nice little cards there. So this is published under the miscellaneous sort of moniker, the yellow titles. Never really did get into bridge, and sort of watched it being played, but it wasn't really my thing. And then we've got a lovely Nancy Mitford, Pursuit of Love. Very, very popular. Is Nancy Mitford. 712 then. Solara the Salmon, another one from Henry Williamson, author of Tarka the Otter. Ambridge, 713. Illyrian Spring. Another quite a thick one, that. And the penguin's got a white body, so it's like changing the logo there with a white penguin. Another rather beaten up old copy, and Fox and that, but Monica Dickens, so Thursday Afternoons, certainly one that I think I'm going to need to upgrade at some point. Don't, Mr. Disraeli. No, don't. 715. This one's quite nice. So this is 716, a K. O'Brien, Without My Cloak, and it's in a dust wrapper, which is quite nice. So some of the thicker books did come with dust wrappers, so it's nice and mint underneath there. And the dust wrapper's certainly done its job there of protecting the book and make it stand out a little bit on the shelf, I guess. Obvious classic here from John Steinbeck of Mice and Men and Cannery Row. Two absolutely fantastic Steinbecks, a couple of my absolute favourites in fact. Very much like John Steinbeck. 718. The Horizontal Man, Helen Eustace. George Baker, Paris of Troy, 719. That one's got a little 2 and 6 over sticker on, which probably means this was on the shelf for a little bit of time and they went round and up-priced the copies. Little run of 5 Peter Cheyneys now. Very popular crime author, had a lot published by Collins, the Collins Crime Club. Can Ladies Kill? There's a lot of Cheyney fans out there. I've never really got into him like that, but you know, I hear he is very good. Dangerous Curves. I think quite a famous one. Dark Duet. This one's got its corner cut there. Someone's been at it. Probably been through the second-hand system and they've pinched off the price there. Poison Ivy, another one, I think one of his more famous ones. And then one more, which is in nice condition, this one, The Urgent Hangman. But that's the first little lot, so I'm going to just pause there and pull the camera out and we'll get a bit more in. First, Robert Graves today, Sergeant Lamb of the 9th. I very much enjoy Robert Graves. His Claudius novels are particularly good. Arthur Quiller Couch, The Astonishing History of Troy Town. A diverting comedy in a Cornish setting. There you go. Back to the crime now with The Velvet Well, John GEARON. And some of these authors, these crime authors, that you don't often hear from them now, but others have managed to stand the test of time, certainly. Like Ngaio Marsh and Agatha Christie, of course. The Big Clock, a bit of a beaten up one out there. And you'll see now that some of the ones, as we get a bit further on into the 1,000 and beyond, that my copies are not exactly mint. And that's because these are ones I've sort of picked up in the wild rather than from other penguin collectors or dealers, you know. 729 there, Soft Answers. So they're as found, often from, you know, 1 or 2 original owners. That's a nice one, isn't it? Verdict of 12, Raymond Postgate. A really nice sort of copy of that one. I'm guessing it's a courtroom drama of some sort, that one. Strawberry Roan, AJ Street. August Folly, Angela Thurkel. 732, and we're almost on 1950 now. From 1935, so it's the first 15 years we've covered now. Royal Flush, 733, another big thick one here. No, it's still 1949 though. So it's around this sort of period of penguin design. It's probably amongst my favourite. I really, really do love these. So Elizabeth Daly, As Evidence of Things Seen. And I just think the whole design of the penguins of this period is particularly nice. It just really appeals to me. 735, this is another one in a dust wrapper. Phyllis Bentley, Freedom Farewell. It's underneath, absolutely lovely. And you do find, even with the early penguins, if you find an early penguin, even if it's in a bit of a rough dust wrapper, that may not actually mind, because underneath it might be absolutely beautiful. So that's what I always look for. Margery Allingham here, Coroner's Pigeon. This is quite a famous crime novel by her, and she's another author who has made it into the sort of the modern world, that the books are still read just because they're so good, along with Ngaio Marsh and Agatha Christie. Here's another one here, Black Plumes. Seem to remember this was one of the ones that took me a bit of time to find in my collection. Took a little bit of hunting down that one. J.J. Connington now, The Case with 9 Solutions. That's quite cool, isn't it? Looks like a one to get you thinking. Simenon double here. So this is a Georges Simenon, and some of his books were so short they actually decided to put 2 in 1 volume. So this is A Battle of Nerves and At the Gay Moulin. I don't know if you've ever read any Simenon, but I am a fan. I do actually like them. I've not read them all, but because there's a lot, there's almost 100, but they are great fun all the same. Carteret's Cure, Richard Caverne. I've seen his name a few times, haven't we, in our walk through these penguins here. And then another really, really nice one. In fact, I think this, rather than Farewell My Lovely, I think this is the one which is a Chandler first edition in any format. Trouble Is My Business, rather than Farewell My Lovely. Yeah, so it's a compilation. So it says the stories in this volume first appeared in various American magazines between 1933 and 1939. They were first issued in book form in the USA in 1946. Trouble Is My Business in a volume entitled Spanish Blood. The remainder in a volume entitled Red Wind. This is the first volume publication in Great Britain. So this is the one. So it's got 5 short Raymond Chandler stories, and that is actually a first edition thus, shall we say. First thus. So there we are. How cool is that? That's a Penguin getting in on a Penguin original in the main list there for number 741. 742 then, Death of a Millionaire, GTH and Margaret Cole. Yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for that Chandler, because I think it goes for quite good money, that one. Don't Monkey with Murder, Elizabeth Ferrars. No Footprints in the Bush, Arthur W. Upfeld. Remove the Bodies, Elizabeth Ferrars again. 745. Absolute classic, one of my favourites, The Great Gatsby, the Penguin edition of that, by F. Scott Fitzgerald, number 746. I think, did it make it into 1950 or is it still 1949? Let's have a little look, shall we? 1950, so there we are. So that's a good way to enter the 1950s with a copy of The Great Gatsby. A biography of Edward Lear, 747. Aldous Huxley's essays, Music at Night, 740. That's a nice one, isn't it? I think Penguin published all of Huxley's work. The Last of Summer, another one by Kate O'Brien, another great little author. 750, Richard Hughes, In Hazard. Little penciled 1 and 6 up there as well, but quite a thin little one, that. 751, D.H. Lawrence. Once again, an author Penguin published everything of. This is quite a worn one, actually. But this is part of a run of D.H. Lawrence's that was published all at the same time, I believe. Yeah, so details of other volumes in this commemorative edition of D.H. Lawrence's works, see the announcement in the inside back cover. So there we are. So D.H. Lawrence, a commemorative edition to mark the 20th anniversary of the death of D.H. Lawrence. 10 volumes of his works have been published simultaneously as Penguins. The selected books include 4 novels, 2 collections of short stories, and a volume each of his poems, letters, articles, and travel sketches. And then it lists the 10 books. 8 of the books include special introductions written for this edition by Richard Aldington, author of a new biography of D.H. Lawrence, Portrait of a Genius, but to be published by William Heinlein Limited. The selected letters contain Huxley's original introduction, and selected poems are chosen and introduced by W. Williams. Apart from this anniversary edition, several other of Lawrence's books have appeared as Penguins, and of these, They are still in print, his famous novels Sons and Lovers and The Rainbow. Both complete and unexpurgated. It is proposed to add The White Peacock, his first novel, in the near future. There we are. And of course, later on, along came Lady Chatterley, which, well, that'll be a video in itself, that particular one. So here we go. We're going to run through these commemorative D.H. Lawrence's. So that was Kangaroo. This is The Lost Girl, rather. And he does write quite a thick book, doesn't he, old Lawrence? There's his selected essays. £7.54, The Plumed Serpent. And I have to say, a lot of these still turn up they're very common, you know. You see them in charity shops and places like that. Aaron's Rod there, £7.55. So don't think you're never going to be able to get these, because they really are quite common, these. A travel one there, £7.56. £7.57. Another one with a bit of staining on here. You're seeing a few warts copies of my later penguins here. The Woman Who Rode Away and Other Stories, £7.58. That's not too bad, I suppose. Selected Letters, £7.59. I mean, that's supposed to be orange, but it's more like a violet, isn't it? Not orange, a purple, but it's come up sort of violet more than anything. The White Peacock, that's a nice copy of that one, number 7. Probably would have been in a wrapper though, so it's not got that. So that's all of the run of the 10 D.H. Lawrence's. Back to crime now, Margery Allingham, Mystery Mile. Mr. Campion and Others, another one from Margery Allingham. 4 English Comedies, edited by Janet Morrell. So, who are those? She Stoops to Conquer. Well, I remember going to see a play of that with Tom Baker back in the 80s. Came to my hometown and we got to meet him afterwards. He was great fun. It doesn't actually give the authors there, but I remember She Stoops to Conquer. I thought Tom Baker was fantastic in the play adaptation of it. But I wouldn't have called it a comedy. I would have called it hard work, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going to just pause the camera there one last time so we've got enough room for the last little batch. There we are. So hopefully I've made just about enough room to finish the last lot of this run. So up to number 764, which is Death Comes to Perigord, John Ferguson. And another Father Brown book by G.K. Chesterton. These are quite good fun. I remember my father loving the Father Brown books. I've not seen the most recent TV adaptation though, so I'm not sure if they're any good or not. If you have watched those, do pop a comment in down below. Lewis Broomfield, Night in Bombay, another double volume. They were certainly pumping out the double volumes once paper rationing had finished. There's certainly no sign of that now, now that we're into the 1950s. Lytton Strackley, Elizabeth and Essex. A look at the relationship between Elizabeth I and one of her courtiers. Henry Williamson again, another one of his Dandelion Days. And it's all very well having, fantastic copies, but then you're always a bit worried about reading them, aren't you? So, having some of these in slightly lower grade doesn't bother me one little bit, because it just means they can be picked up and read without worrying too much. These certainly aren't like the wartime editions, which are super fragile. Sweet Danger, 769, by Margery Allingham. Certainly seen a few by her this 100, haven't we? Another one here, The Crime at Black Dudley, 770. I guess she wasn't quite in the same league where Penguin could publish 10 simultaneously, but they did do a 5, which is what this is. So this is The Fashion in Shrouds, and I guess because they'd already printed some earlier, like the year before, they didn't have 10 backed up to publish, so they just did a 5 here, Traitor's Purse. I wonder if they do mention anything about publishing the 5 books. So it does say this is one of 10 books by Margery Allingham published simultaneously. So I guess they must be, see, they were earlier they were earlier numbers, so they're not in this numerical sequence that we're looking at here. So there's quite a few here, but some came earlier in our run, in the 730s, and these ones in the 770s. There was one, Flowers for the Judge. That was a real wartime scarce one, that. So although there's 5 there, and there's the last one, 773, there were a few earlier, so they did actually publish 10. So there we go. I didn't realise that. I've always looked at them on the shelf. Like when they did the Christie 10, they were all in a block of 10. So, well, there we go. There we go. We'll see. Everyone's learning. Oxbow Incident, a classic of the vanished Wild West. Don't think we could class that as a Western, but you never know. Black Narcissus, Rumour God. That's a bit of a classic, isn't it? That one. 778, Famous Trials of Marshall Hall. Big thick crime book, that one. Don't get many crime double volumes. Heads You Lose, yeah, Christina Brand. That's quite a famous one. 7 Against Reeves, Richard Arlington. Nice copy of that one. It's probably unread, that one. Monica Dickens. Mariana. Slight, like, you can see like a dust shadow on that. That's what they call a dust shadow, where a book has been laid over it for many, many years at that angle, and it's just caused that layer of dust. You can see, look, the L. It's mad, isn't it? So if you imagine this book here was like that, that's the dimensions. You take it away, you see that? So that's what they call a dust shadow. The Ginger Griffin, Ambridge. This is number 782. So we're almost there. And this has we've moved on to 1951 now. So we've moved through a couple of years. Miss Hargreaves, 783. Colossus of Marusi, Henry Miller. He's a great author, wasn't he? Great American author. 785, that's a lovely one, isn't it? The Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes. Fantastic. Do you like the Sherlock Holmes books? At least I do. I've always been into them. They are obviously of the period, but the stories themselves are so good. Just fantastic. Another Steinbeck here, another great one, Tortilla Flat. I mean, around this time, Pan were publishing a lot of the Steinbecks, so I don't know if they were published by both publishers at the same time, or if Penguin had them, then Pan got them, or vice versa. I don't really know. Famous Trials, 3, it's volume 3. But I would like to compare the publishing dates of the Pan and the Penguin ones to see who quite got them first. Deadline. 788, so we're almost at the end of our 100 Penguins today. Great author, Joseph Conrad, one that I do actually enjoy reading, although not the big thick ones like this, but some of his stuff is excellent. Another huge one here, Main Street by Sinclair Lewis. That's almost a triple volume, you could say. Look at the size of it. Huge book, that one, number 790. Gilbert and Sullivan, biography, 791. Mystery of the Butcher's Shop. This is another one that took me a little bit of time. I think this is probably the last one I needed to get this run of from 700 to 800. Mystery Villa, 793. Certainly once you hit 1,000, because I only need now 6 or 7 to get the first 1,000 licked, which isn't bad at all. But after that, they're very much sporadic. So if I do carry on going through, which I probably will, you know, with other books in the collection past 1,000. They're not complete runs, they're just ones that have come my way, 794, or ones that I fancied, you know, for reading purposes. There are authors that I collect every single edition of, you know, people like John Wyndham, for example. There'd be a lot of that, a lot of sci-fi, 795. So it's just stuff that's sort of come my way past number 1,000, but you know, I've got quite a lot of that as well. Angela Thurkill, but just not complete. No, nothing like a complete run like these. 797. Clocky Merle. Nice copy of this one, H.M. Pullum Esquire. Really nice copy in a nice dust wrapper to boot. So yeah, that's a particularly nice one. See, that's, you know, almost certainly never been read, that one, but lovely to have. Garden Party, Catherine Mansfield, another great author. And then number 800 was How Green Was My Valley by Richard Llewellyn. And there we are, another double volume. So that 100 books, as you can see, takes up a lot of room here, you know. Absolutely fantastic. So there we are, that's another 100 gone through. Now, if you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it a thumbs up. Do please subscribe for regular vintage penguin content. I try and do one of these penguin videos at least once a month if I can, with a few other odds and ends thrown in as and when I get a chance. Do please consider subscribing for regular vintage paperback content. Thank you once again for watching today, and I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.